All right, Darian, let's take a look at your essay. MLA format first. This is good, except it's the wrong font, so you want to make sure you have the right font. Your name, my name, class, and date is all right. Illness of one, the fall of many. I like that title. I think it works well. So we start off with a statistic about insomnia. What I'd love to see is not jumping right into the topic. I'd love to see another sentence here that kind of expands on the concept of people that have insomnia, something else about them, I don't know, that then kind of transfer into the play. Overall, your flow of the introduction is okay. Your thesis statement is actually fine. I'm hoping that you analyze these two ideas when we get there. What I'm not a huge fan of is that you have his symptoms, his lack of sleep caused him to do this, and then 2 sentences later you go back through and you say all of them again. So you talk about forgetfulness, which you just talked about, particularly forgetful. I'm not sure why you would feel the need to do that. And if this is the case, Darian, if you're going to keep all of these up here, and actually, sorry, maybe I can talk a little bit about this is something I would move as well. Maybe here, something like that. Because once you introduce your topics, you want to jump right into your thesis statement. If you're going to introduce your topics like this, don't put them in your thesis statement because it just drags the flow of the paper down. So maybe just a few things, but overall it's not a bad first paragraph. I don't see really any punctuation errors, maybe some word choice errors. Highly contributed, that doesn't really make any sense, either contributed or didn't. So find a different word for that or get rid of the highly overall. So your first paragraph is about talking about the inability to sleep with sleep deprivation. Remember, when you have the period here, you don't need the period here. You don't have a strong topic sentence because your topic sentence should be about how this symptom affected Macbeth, essentially. Here's another example. He feels abundantly guilty. Well, how do you feel abundantly guilty? Are you guilt-ridden, maybe? Might be a better term to use there. So go back through and look at how you're doing that, how you're adding some of these words in here. You do have some good word choice overall, apprehensiveness, those kind of things are good. So you do use one quote from Macbeth. You do use an outside source, but only to introduce the actual topic. I'd love to see another source where you actually dive deep into the concept of insomnia and lack of sleep and how that might affect, use the more medical side of this. I mean, you give examples here, but you could actually analyze this quote a little bit more. You talk about what he's going to do and then you talk about this, but take another sentence or two to really analyze this concept of and how, his insomnia is going to play into this part, right? Because this is your thesis statement. So how does it play into here for this first body paragraph? This is a very weak transition statement. There are many other symptoms that affected Macbeth. That's really weak. You want to have something much, much better than that. So when you think about transitions, you want to bridge these two. So maybe you say his inability to sleep. And this might be the problem too. It's not chronological right now because, well, I guess it might be chronological. We really don't see that he's not sleeping till later. You could talk about Lady Macbeth's line later on the play after he sees the ghost. She remarks how he hasn't been sleeping well. I don't know. But you want to have a better transitional statement. All right, so the next one is about forgetfulness and errors in here. Here's another. This is completely, unnecessary. Immensely absent-minded. I don't know how you can be immensely absent-minded. You are really absent-minded, and I don't know if that's what you did. You just used the word really in here and you tried to figure out a synonym, but it just doesn't work. So here's my problem with this paragraph. This is all plot, okay? So I haven't seen any outside source about forgetfulness and errors. I don't see what the doctors and the experts are saying about how insomnia and forgetfulness kind of comes into play together and how that relates to the play. So this is all plot. Then you get here which you should be analyzing using your thesis, and all that you say that leads to other errors later in the play, which doesn't tell me anything. There's no specific examples. There's nothing here that will drive any kind of thesis statement. So you're not really doing anything once you get to this point, and then you jump right into the transitional statement. This is a better transitional statement. I wouldn't say it's fantastic, but it definitely is a little bit better. When you get down to the next paragraph, you got a tab issue here, so you got to tab over when you have that much space. All right, Darian, when you see your grade and you see your voice grade, I'm going to tell you this is the reason why. He affect Macbeth colossally. Like, those adverbs that you're adding actually take away from your writing style. I automatically go, well, that's not Darian's voice, because I don't think she'd really say that. And so I think that really actually is hurting you more than anything. And so when you see that voice grade, don't be shocked when it's a little bit lower than it should be, because otherwise you do have some good stuff in here. It's just those words don't do anything for you. Don't need a comma here. His judgment becomes impaired shortly after killing him when Macbeth learns that he will become king, so you need one there. Many times, there's where you need a comma. Macbeth contemplated murdering him or not murdering him to take the throne. Here's another. I don't know what it is about this word, but it's almost like a laughable word, indubitably. I don't know. It just doesn't do anything for me. An immense amount of continuing symptoms. Okay, Darian, you got to get over it. Okay. All right. Here's the other problem. Still mostly plot. Okay. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Okay. Read the sentence. Although this seems like improper judgment on Macbeth's part in the first place, now I would expect you to say that it works to his advantage. Instead, you say it worked to Macbeth's disadvantage because it caused stronger desire. So the sentence doesn't actually make sense, because you should be saying it was improper judgment in the first place, and it showed when it caused a stronger desire for revenge for Macduff. There's no, although it was this, then it became this. Although implies that you're going to take another side to this issue, and you are not. So you got to go back there and fix that sentence. This is a okay transitional statement again. I would love to see something better where you're saying like how one would flow into the other, because he had this impaired judgment. These things manifested themselves into hallucinations that ultimately brought him blah blah blah. I don't know, something like that. You got a tab issue again here, and then going back up here, no tie into the thesis at all, Darian. So you got to tie your thesis into it, and I don't think it was a bad thesis. You're just not doing anything with it. You're just giving me a bunch of support, which is good, and you need it, but you're not doing anything with it. All right, so hallucinations, again with the most unhinged symptom of insomnia. I'm not sure that works too well. All plot. I mean, literally, this is all plot. There's nothing that there's no outside source in here. There's no outside source in this paragraph. And there's no connection to a thesis. So you still got a lot of work to do to kind of tie this all together. Again, Darian, it flows nice. You don't really have any punctuation errors, but you're not doing everything that you need to do to have a strong body paragraphs with lots of supports. Tab issue here with the conclusion. You go back through and talk about the thesis again. You have your main points down here, which is good. There's extremely, which you should never. I mean, that's almost as bad as really. It's right up there. This is again a repeat of something in the thesis or in the introduction paragraph, and this is not the greatest ending. I'd go back to the quote, go back to the statistic, something like that to end it all. It doesn't, and it goes to your title, which is fine. And I like that. It's just kind of like out of the blue, like all of a sudden it just boom, it happens. So set it up somehow. I don't know. Works cited page. Works cited's got to go at the top. So you cited the play, which is fine. this I think should be all in quotes. I don't know what the website title or website place is. Is it like a WebMD? So I'm not sure where that is. You have these insomnia facts. You should have cited Phillips in here, but I don't remember you doing that. You have these insomnia facts, which is supposed to be, that's wrong. That's supposed to be in parentheses, not this. Okay, so you got some work to do on the works cited page as well. And I don't know, again, I don't know if these are the best websites as well, as far as having ones that are reliable and reputable. All right, Darian, you got some work to do. Luckily for you, it's not a whole lot of dinky things. You can focus really just on expanding on the thesis statement in every body paragraph, and using more of your outside sources.